Welcome to the Microsoft OSS QuickStart template. In this demo, we will launch a template that hosts an app to track locations and information about national parks in the US. For more information about how the app is structured and how its individual parts work, check out the user manual. There are two steps we need to execute before we begin: generating an SSH key and creating a service principal. To create a key, you'll need PuTTY-Gen. If you already have PuTTY, you should have PuTTY-Gen. If not, there is a link to the download page in the user manual. Launch PuTTY-Gen from the Start menu, then click Generate. It uses mouse movements to generate randomness, so move your mouse around in the window until the green bar fills up. Once generation is complete, the public key will appear in the window. It will also generate a private key. Click Save Private Key, then save the file somewhere where you will not lose it. Next, create the service principal. To create a service principal, you must have owner permissions on your Microsoft Azure subscription. If you do not have these permissions, obtain them before continuing. Log into the Azure portal, then go to the Azure Cloud Shell in the top right corner. To create a service principal, run the command AZAD SP create-4-RBAC. The output will provide an app ID, display name, password, and tenant. Copy and paste the app ID, password, and tenant into your notepad, as you will need them later. Next, run the command AZAccount-show and copy the ID output into your notepad. Label it Subscription ID. Now it's time to deploy the ARM template. Go to the provided GitHub URL and copy the main template file. Note that the GitHub URL will likely change after the production of this video, so check your documentation to be sure. Back on the Azure portal, click on New and search for Template Deployment. Click on it, then click on Create. Select Build Your Own Template in the editor, then replace the default section with the text you copied from GitHub, and click Save. On the Template Details page, create an admin username and password, then replace the public key with the one you generated in PuTTY. Assign your own username and password under the Kibana username and Kibana password fields, and make sure to note them down so you don't forget. Enter the application ID, then enter the password from the service principal as the client secret. Make sure to leave the Artifacts Location SAS token field empty. Click Purchase, then wait as the various operations deploy. This may take a few minutes. When the output is complete, note the Jenkins DNS value. Once the template is successfully deployed, you can use PuTTY to log into the Jenkins server. Paste the Jenkins DNS value from the template output into the host name field under Session on PuTTY. Next, navigate to Connection, SSH, Auth, and click Browse next to the private key field. Select the private key you created with PuTTY-Gen, then click Open to connect to the Jenkins server. When asked to provide a username, enter admin user. In the server command line, enter the command sudo-i to change to the root user. Then cd:/var/lib/jenkins/secrets to change to the right directory. Next, run cat initial admin password to see the starting password for the Jenkins server. Copy this password. Open a new browser tab and enter the Jenkins server URL you used in PuTTY, then add a colon, then 8080. This will take you to the server. To unlock Jenkins, paste the initial admin password you just grabbed and click Continue. Then click Install Suggested Plugins. You will land on a Create First Admin User page, but click on Continue as Admin in the bottom right corner. Once you see the Jenkins is Ready screen, click on Start Using Jenkins. You will see all the jobs that can be run in this Jenkins server. Start by clicking on ELK job. click on Build Now. You will see a number 1 appear under Build History. Click on that, then click on Console Output to view progress on the build. Once the build completes successfully, you will see Finished Success at the bottom of the output. Once ELK job succeeds, it will automatically begin the MongoDB Packer job. Go back to the Jenkins dashboard and click MongoDB Packer job, number 1, and console output, as you did before. Once the build is successful, copy the first VHD URL from those provided above the success messages. Go back to the Jenkins dashboard and select the MongoDB Terraform job. Click on Configure tab and scroll down to the Terraform section. Under the Resource Variable section, change the image URL variable to the URL you just copied. Then click Apply and Save. Click Build Now, number 1, and console output as you did before. Once that job is complete, you can find login credentials in the output. On the Azure portal template, use the Build Instance FQDN field as the FQDN in PuTTY. Use the same private key and click Open. Then sign in as admin user. You are now on the build instance server. Execute sudo-i to become the root user, then find /-iname space mongod. Then enter cd space /hab/pkgs/root /mongodb /3.2.9/. Then enter the date and time in the YYYYMMDDT format. Then execute ./bin/mongo. Finally, enter the following command to validate the success of your MongoDB configuration. db.admin command (brace list databases : space 1 close brace close parentheses). You should see one database in the output as shown. Input exit to log out of MongoDB. You should be back on root at build instance in the command line. Enter sudo-i, then hab setup to configure Chef Habitat. You will be asked a series of questions. Enter yes for setting up the default origin. Enter origin name as root. Enter yes to generate the origin key. Enter no to setting up the GitHub access token. And enter yes to enable analytics. Next, you need to create a heart file. Start by cloning the GitHub repo. Do this by entering git clone, then the GitHub URL. The URL may have changed since this video was recorded, so check your user manual to make sure you have the right URL. Next, enter cd space msoss, then git checkout habcode to navigate to the right branch. Enter cd national-parks-plan, then enter hab studio enter. Next, you'll need to build the application using the build command. Enter build, then enter exit to leave the hab studio. Once the build is complete, there will be a heart file in the results directory. Back on the build instance command line, enter cd space / to return to the root, then mkdir space /national parks to create a new folder. To copy the heart file and public key to the newly created folder, enter the following commands: cp space /root /msoss /national-parks-plan /results /root-national-parks your current version the date timestamp, again in the YYYYMMDDT format, x86_64x linux.heart/nationalparks. Check on your screen to make sure you didn't miss anything. Then execute cp space /hab/cache /keys/root dash the date and time .pub/national parks. Next, zip the folder using the following commands: tar space cvzf space nationalparks.tar.gz/nationalparks. Next, run the upload_heart.sh file to upload the zip to Azure using the following command: sh space /scripts/uploadheart.sh space nationalparks.tar.gz. Back on the Jenkins dashboard, go to App Packer Job, then Configure. Under the heart file equals parameter, change the existing name to nationalparks.tar.gz, then click Apply and Save. Click on Build, then number 1, then console output to wait until the build is successful. Once the build is successful, copy the first VHD URL from those provided above the success messages. Next, go to VMSS job on the Jenkins dashboard and click on Configure. Scroll down to the Terraform section and find the image URL field under Resource Variables. Replace it with the URL you just copied from App Packer Job, then click Apply and Save. Once again, click Build, number 1, and console output to wait for completion. In the output, you'll find a field labeled Application URL. Copy it, then paste it in a browser window and add :8080/national-parks. You should see a working version of the app, a map of every U.S. national park. Thank you for trying the Microsoft OSS Phase 1 QuickStart template.